Greetings. This is an overview of ethics, social justice, diversity, and health equity. This course contains a total of 6 modules, and the final module that's not showing up yet, it will, is faculty only, and that will have just information for you as the faculty member. So when we're in the Start Here section, you will find the syllabus, you'll find the textbooks for the course calendar, and let's just go through the course calendar very quickly. Okay, so this breaks down the modules into the foundations. We're going to start out with the Morrison and Furlong text, and then going into social justice, and then we'll add the Tobin, Tyler, and Teitelbaum text. And then the third module will be diversity and bias. Again, we'll be highlighting the Tobin, Tyler, and Teitelbaum textbook, and it's a real easy read, but it has very valuable information that I think that the students will find to be very helpful. In the third module, they'll have their first full assignment. Of course, they have discussion boards in the previous modules. The assignment is an interview, and the focus is on diversity and the social determinants of health. Then they'll go into module number 4, which encases health disparities and health equity, and they'll do some reading in their Morrison and Furlong text, as well as Tobin, Tyler, and Teitelbaum. Then they'll go into module number 5, which highlights all hazards, disasters, preparedness, and this is a really strong area to really focus on ethics, so I felt like it was very important to include it, especially in the atmosphere that we are right now. So there's 2 chapters in Morrison, and there's quite a bit of module content in this one as well that will help supplement for the students. And then their final module is their synthesis. That's when they're going to bring everything together, and they're going to do a final presentation, and the final presentation will actually be the subject matter for their last discussion board. So that's kind of an overview of the course calendar. One thing I do want to highlight and just bring forward is that this is a course that is cross-listed, so it's part of our Master's in Health Administration students, as well as our nursing master's students. So there's a really strong integration in this course, and it's actually very exciting, I feel, to mesh the two, because I think that will add diversity to the discussion boards as well. So here are the resources for the students, and I just want to highlight this. This is directly to the library, and they can email Paul Rorell just using this particular link. So this is very helpful. And going back, there's a link to the help desk as well as the McKendree Office Directory, the gold standard that we grade our documents within 1 week of the due date, and I'll need to go back and fix this. And then emails and phone calls will be returned within 48 hours, but typically we do return responses sooner than that, but this is the gold standard that everyone uploads into their courses. And of course, we'll have the rubrics are here as well as in the assignment link. And then we have the aggregate outcomes and the student learning outcomes, actually straight from the syllabus, but they're included here so everyone can take a look at that as well. So in each module, I've structured them so there's an overview of what's in that module, including the student learning outcomes that are most appropriate for the content that's included. In this one, the module is a little bit light just to get them started, and this is where they're going to lay the foundation for those ethical theories and principles. And I've included a real quick little study guide just kind of to take notes as they read, but the overview of the Morrison and Furlong chapters are here, as well as these are the PowerPoints for each one of the chapters. So please feel free to customize those, do voiceovers, select out the slides that are most important and edit them a little bit because they tend to be lengthy. I just included them here just for your convenience so that they're already in there. And then points to consider as the students are taking a look and reading the materials. So each of the modules are basically set up the same way. The overview of what's going on, kind of the to-do list, they're to do their discussion board, the module content, the readings that are associated, and the student learning outcomes. And here's, I failed to say that, but in each one of the modules there's an overview, and this is where you can place your link or your module video right here, and you can actually record that or use a screencast, whatever you prefer to use to do the overview for your modules. So in Module 2, I shook it up a little bit and included a video for the students to watch, just kind of a practical overview of the social determinants of health, and to help them to start thinking in the context of how the determinants are actually really congruent with ethical principles, and our ethical principles apply to the experience of the social determinants of health and those types of things. But and then there's also some materials that will help them to kind of think through. So I've tried to add very simple supplements to the readings and try to diversify things a little bit, and feel free to add to the course itself to broaden their experiences, what you think is most appropriate. So as we're in module number 3, same type of setup. This is where you'll put your overview, the readings, and with Tobin, Tyler, and Teitelbaum, I don't know how you would want to address this. They didn't have some of the materials that the other textbook had as far as resources. And like I said, the reading is really pretty short and concise. So I don't know if you want to do overviews or just speak in your overview about the content that's included in Tobin, Tyler, and Teitelbaum. The assignment link is here, as well as the rubric. And this is really interesting, the project Implicit from Harvard University, and the students can do a self-assessment. This is something that may be very personal to them, so I don't know if you want to include that as far as part of the discussion. You can add that to it if you want. It may be a little unnerving to them when they do their own self-assessments, and I learned some stuff about myself, just so you know, and it may be interesting for you to do that yourself to kind of see what the students will be doing as well. And then this is the culturally and linguistically appropriate services information, and this is really a good resource for them to use. And this is kind of an overview of the class assessment and class structure, and this is a very integral part of the aspects of this course as well. And I've included the blueprint for advancing and sustaining the class policy and practice. Okay, in module number 4, we're going to get into racial and ethnic disparities and looking at ways to promote equitable care. And there's some additional resources that I think the students will find to be supplemental and will help them with their discussion boards and also with their final assignments as well. So that may be something just to key into with the students also to tell them ahead of time that some of the content in the modules will actually facilitate the completion of their final assignment as well. I really try to scaffold things so that they can build those tools as they go. When they do their synthesis assignment, they can bring everything together and really consolidate it to be something that's very meaningful to them. And module number 5, we're going to look at all hazards preparedness, and there are resources here, ready.gov and FEMA, as well as some considerations in mitigating pandemic disease. And this is a really long resource, but there's some really good concepts, and it's a little bit old, but the same ethical concepts hold true. So this is ethical guidance in disaster response, and again, this is really helpful, especially in the context of crisis standards of care. So this will be helpful, and this is a relatively new video, and this provides a nice overview of the crisis standards of care in a really real and relevant way to bring everything together for the students when we're looking at all hazards preparedness. And our final chapter, number 6, that's where we're going to do all the student learning outcomes in one shot. We're going to bring absolutely everything together, and we're going to do the final presentation, and then the discussion board link is where they will actually upload their presentation to share amongst their classmates, and then they'll be able to learn from each other from those presentations and really broaden that learning experience and create that community of inquiry that's so important as we're doing online work. So to summarize, as I just mentioned, the community of inquiry is basically what the courses are built on in the discussion boards, and I've integrated the use of the video note quite often in the discussion board to make those connections for the students so that they can have that interaction. And it's really important for faculty to be present, of course, and that video note really helps us to be physically present in the course as well, and in those discussion boards, so the students really thrive when we're right in the discussion boards with them. Please review, of course, this video, and I've just, in synopsis, the Morrison and Furlong PowerPoints are present for you. There's a link in each module for your video overviews. For this very first course, all the discussion boards are prepped and open the Friday before the discussion board starts, and then it will close at the end of the discussion board as well. So if you want to change the opening and closings, please do that. They're all connected in the grade book, and they're all worth 6 points. And then the course shell is designed so you can make it your own and customize things and improve it. So it is a skeleton, so to speak, to really enrich it and make it your own, but hopefully it has the strong infrastructure for you to build upon as you move forward. And as always, just let me know if I can assist you in any way, and if there's anything that I can do differently to facilitate having a good experience in this particular course. Thank you so much, and take care.